אוזן.
דרור קפלון.
סער ברוך.
איתן לוי.
14-hour-old baby of אבו קרונות.
יונתן סמרנו.
עופרה קידר.
סמי קידר.
אליהו צ'רצ'יל מרגלית.
אריה זלמנוביץ'.
יובל דורון קסטלמן.
ליביה דיקמן.
חנה איפרגן.
רבי אלימלך וסרמן.
אופיר צרפתי.
רביד אריה כץ.
גויתם ג'בראהיוואט.
שי זינגהון. זיאשום וון.
דלי זהו.
נטליה דמידובה.
מרק מרדכי פרץ.
שולמית מרנשטיין.
פרה איפרגן. קלמנקס פליקס מטגנה.
סומצ'אי סייאנג.
פפוטני פונגרו.
חיה רקסנון.
ארנטית קייסון.
קפי קטס.
סיירות פנטקיטיסואן.
טוואצ'אי סייאטו. פונגפת סוצ'אוט.
דווה סיין.
טיאנצ'אי אוטונגטי. קריסרון תומיומה. צ'רפן דיו טייסון.
סטה הומסורן.
שמיל אבסום.
עדן אבדולייב.
סמיון אבדילמוב.
יזן זכריה אבו ג'אמה. אוראל אבו חצר.
אוסמה אבו מדיאם.
דליה אבו מדיאם.
מאי זוהיר אבו סביה.
פייזה אבו סביה.
מוסא אבו סביר. עמר אבו סביר.
אוסמה אבו איסה.
נוי אביב.
דור אביטן.
לוטן אביר.
גיל יוסף אבני. חן אבן. אלון אבן.
עידו אבן.
רינת אבן.
עודד אברג'יל.
אילן אברהם.
ליאור אברהמוב. מיכאל אברהמוב. אנג'לין אגירס.
אסף מרדכי אדברג.
מפל אדם.
מיכל אדמוני.
גילי אדר.
אביעד אברהם אדרי. עידן אדרי. זירה אוביץ.
שום אדום.
אליהו אוזן.
אריה אוזן.
אליעד אוחיון.
משה אוחיון. סילביה אוחיון. עדן ליז אוחיון.
דניאל אוחנה.
עדי אוחנה.
מיכאל אוסטרובסקי.
יונה אור.
אליהו אורגד. בן אורי. אביאל אורן.
גבי אזולאי.
יוחאי אזולאי.
יונתן חי אזולאי.
עמרי אחרק.
אופק אטום. דורין אטיאס. מג'ד איברהים.
ניב אביאס.
ליאל איתך.
סיגל איתך.
שירה איילון.
אליה אילוז'. גיא אילוז. אדם אילייב.
איוון אלרמנדי סיזר.
לילי איתמרי.
רן איתמתי.
ליז אלחרר חלפון.
מאיר אלחרר.
עבד הרחמן עטף אלזיאדנה.
מופיד אלזיר. פטמה אל תקלט. סלומון אליוגאייר.
אביב אליהו.
יהונתן אליהו.
נועם אליקים. מרינה אלמגור. מתן אלמלם.
עבד הרחמן אלסרה.
אורן אלפסי.
שלמה אלפסי.
חאלד אלפחרים.
מוטי אלקבץ. סיוון אלקבץ. עינב אלקיים לוי.
לורטה אלקרה.
עבד אלקבים ואלנססרה.
אמין אקל אלקרן.
ג'ואד איברהים אלקרן.
מלק איברהים אלקרן. טלב אלקרן. מוחמד דיב אלקרן.
סוהייב אבו עמר אלרזם.
שלמה אליהו אלשייך.
מרדכי מודי אמיר.
ליאור אסולין. לירז אסולין. רונן אנג'ל.
נועה אנגלדר.
ליאב אסייג. ג'ון אסלנוב. יוסי זיגי אפלטון.
ירין משה אפרים.
נועם ליאל אפרים. חגי אפרת. בלהה אפשטיין.
נטע אפשטיין.
אביב אצילי. אור אקוני. אריה אקוני.
רותי אקוני.
מתן אקשטיין. אורי ארד. נבו ארד.
דן אריאל.
מרדכי בן אריאל ביטון. איילת ארנין. סהר אשואני.
חיים אשרף.
גדעון בבני. פרבש בנדרי. דרור בהט.
אורטל בובץ בן עיון.
יובל בויום. ענבר בויום. קרולין בול.
דורון בולדס.
סופיה בונגרט. פטרי בוסקו. נטע בועזיז מורלי.
רז פוקובזה.
ליאם בור גלון. בניהו ביטון. מאיה ביטון.
נעמי בקר.
אריאל ביליה,
ספיר בילמס,
אורון ביילין,
זיניידה ביילין,
שגיב ביילין בן צבי,
דיפש ראז' פיסטה,
אורון בירה,
טל בירה,
יסמין בירה,
תהל בירה,
תאיר בירה,
גאולה בכר,
דנה בכר,
כרמל בכר,
מזי בכר,
יהודה בכר,
יצחק איציק בלטו,
חן בן אבי,
עמית בן אבידה,
חנה בן ארצי,
ירדן בוסקילה,
מתיאס הרנן בורסטיין,
עינב חן בורשטיין,
ברטה ביינסטיין שמייב,
איתי בנג'ו,
מאיה בן דוד,
סלין רחק בן דביב נגר,
עידו בן זינו,
גלעד בן יהודה,
יובל בן יהודה,
יוחאי בן זכריה,
רבקה בן חורין,
אורן חיים בן חמו,
דן בן הם,
מיכאל בן משה,
חיים בן נעים,
שחר בן נעים,
דניאל בן סניור,
חווה בן עמי,
שני בן עמי,
משה בן פורת,
אמיתי בן צבי,
עדן בן רובי,
אמנון בצלאל,
דין נהוראי בר,
יובל בר,
מעיין בר,
יובל בר-און,
גבריאל ישי בראל,
אלדד אנג'ל ברמן,
נורית ברגר,
לירון ברדה,
הדר ברדיצ'בסקי,
איתי ברדיצ'בסקי,
שירז ברודש,
שושנה ברוש,
סתיו ברזני,
טל ברטי קליין,
נדב ברדה,
אדם ברימה,
רומי ברנט אליהו,
אליהו יעקב ברנשטיין,
בן ברנשטיין,
יורם בר סיני,
דניאל ברסלבסקי,
אילי ברעם,
מור גבאי,
עמית גבאי,
שני גבאי,
איילת גודארד,
מני גודר,
תום גדות,
תמר גוטמן,
אורן גולדין,
ניצן גולדנברג,
תמר גולדנברג,
נדב גולדשטיין,
דניאל גלטמן,
מרגריטה ריטה גוסק,
דוקטור לילה גורביץ',
שיר חנה ג'ורג'י,
שרון גורדני,
רפאל אריאל גורי,
אנטון גוריאנוב,
ויקטוריה גורלוב,
אבנר גורן,
ארן גורן,
טובה גורן,
מאיה גורן,
עדן גז,
סתיו קורל גטר,
ירוסלב גילר,
ליליה גילר,
שחר גינדי,
שלו גל,
נועה גלסברג,
אנדרי זמקוב,
זויה זנפר.
איזבלה גם.
and more traumatized. And more than 250 were taken to Gaza as hostages. Tonight, we come together to reflect and to remember the lives that were lost, the communities that were shattered 1 year ago, and those
And this was done under the cover of a barrage of more than 2,000 rockets. Hamas says they have taken Israelis hostage and they have taken them back inside of Gaza.
We gather here tonight with broken hearts. And while our hearts may be broken, the Jewish people will never be broken.
Imena Nili Mili. We are not for ourselves, who will be for us?
Another Shabbat, not home, not knowing where they are.
October 7th was a crime against the Jewish state, indeed against humanity.
החזירו אותם הביתה, עכשיו! 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 עכשיו!
For the past 3 days, heartwarming scenes have played out here in Israel as families are being reunited after weeks of captivity since being kidnapped by Hamas.
Our son's young life was tragically cut short. We must take a tough stand against terrorism, against anti-Semitism, and against Jew hatred.
100 days since the October 7th attacks, and more than 130 hostages remain in captivity.
Bring them home! Bring them home!
Hate crimes around the country and here in our city have been on the rise, targeting the Jewish community.
At last, the kind of news Israel has been waiting for.
A complex rescue operation to save 2 hostages.
Hezbollah has fired thousands of rockets at Israel.
Get back! It is a protest movement that's spreading.
Pro-Palestinian encampments spread to more than half a dozen Canadian campuses.
The protesters represented a clear and present danger to college life.
The pro-Palestinian encampment is making Jewish students and faculty feel unsafe.
Israel, represented by 20-year-old Eden Golan, finished in 5th place.
We saw Eden consistently booed throughout the event.
She was apparently in tears afterwards.
Massive anti-Israel protests, obviously, on the streets in front of Eden's hotel.
Palestine will be free!
Israeli forces rescued 4 Israeli hostages
who were kidnapped by Hamas from the Nova Music Festival.
A record-breaking walk with Israel. The march through Toronto.
50,000 people walking up through the heart of the Jewish community.
Tonight, Israel says at least a dozen children and teenagers were killed after a rocket hit a soccer field where they were playing.
A hostage has been rescued from Gaza.
A 52-year-old Bedouin man from Israel.
6 bodies found in a tunnel in Rafah. This has caused an enormous amount of shock.
And Hirsch, there's one last thing I need you to do for us. Now I need you to help us stay strong. And I need you to help us survive.
We would now like to welcome to the stage Consul General of Israel in Toronto and Western Canada, Idit Shamir.
Erev Tov. Thank you, UJA. Thank you, Premier Ford. Every time you speak out, it makes all of us safer. 1 year ago, Hamas savages invaded Israel. 1,200 murdered, 251 kidnapped in a single day. They beheaded our fathers. They burned families alive. They raped our daughters. 101 hostages still in Gaza's dungeons. Shani, 22, raped, executed, her corpse desecrated in Gaza's streets. Hirsch, 23, arm blown off, dragged around, murdered after 11 months of torture. Not statistics. Our children, our families. Our response is we are still here. Iran pawns attack from 7 fronts. 8,500 rockets from Hezbollah. We stand firm. Iran's drones and missiles shut down. 80,000 Israelis displaced. We do not break. We don't bow. We fight. The world's reaction: denial, arms embargo, avoid escalation, they say. Take the win. Grotesque. Your campuses are breeding grounds for radicalism. Your streets, echo chambers of hate. World leaders, it's time to lead. It's complex. Butchered babies are not complex. Both sides, only one side glorifies murder. Ceasefire? If Hamas puts down their weapons, the war would end today. We've seen this movie before. We know the ending. We remember every pogrom, every inquisition, every yellow star. Our response: never again. Not empty words, a promise. We keep our promises. Every rocket from Gaza, every threat in Toronto, one target: Jews. We carry this pain. It doesn't break us, it steals us. World, wake up. This is your war too. Today us, tomorrow you. I want to thank each and every one of you who is here today. To my fellow Jews, stay united, stand tall, show pride, not just for Israel, for yourselves. To our allies, speak up, act now, pick a side. History is watching. To our enemies, we outlasted empires. We will outlast you too. This is the moment for courage, for action, for survival. We fight for Israel, for every Jew, for everyone who chooses light over darkness. We will keep living, keep building, keep dreaming, no matter the cost. Remember October 7. Remember our stolen children. Remember why we fight, why we must win. Our hope never dies. Od lo avda tikvatenu.
We would now like to welcome to the stage 2 speakers from Israel, Noah and Noam Chanukah.
Hi everyone. My name is Noah Chanukah. I grew up in Ofakim, a development town in the south of Israel, about 25 kilometers from Gaza. When I was 19, we moved to Ashkelon. All that is to say that I know that I wanted to build my life in Israel South. After university, I got a job with a Jewish agency and moved to Kibbutz Mefalsim.
Hi. My name is Noam Hanukkah. I'm from Jerusalem and decided to attend university at Sapir College next to Sderot and live with other young students in Kibbutz Mefalsim. That is where I met my wife, Noah.
Noam and I both live in the young people neighborhood in Mefalsim. You can imagine that. It's a lot of fun to live there with lots of other young people. The apartments are so small there that they are called the boxes. Noam lived 4 boxes down from me. We became very close friends, and eventually we got engaged and married shortly after. After we got married, we wanted more space, so we moved to the adult neighborhood of the kibbutz. We have a house right in the entrance of the kibbutz. We already had reservation about this new neighborhood. We can literally hear the prayers from Gaza and didn't love living right at the entrance, but we're waiting patiently for a house to be available further in the kibbutz. On October 6, I was 37 weeks pregnant. I'm already started having construction. I remember that morning, Noam put my go bag into the car. We had friends all over from the center of Israel for the holiday. At about 9 p.m., I told everyone I was going to bed because I didn't feel well. For some reason, I couldn't sleep all night. I feel like something just wasn't right. Finally, around 4 a.m., I held Noam's hand and began falling asleep.
On October 7, I had to go to work. I left the house at about 6:15. I had only been gone a few minutes when I heard the first sirens at 6:30. I had made it to the Shara Negev interaction, only a few kilometers from the house, when I pulled to the south of the road and shared a shelter with a few other cars. I remember seeing people with glitter on their face, thinking they probably have been in a party or something like that, or music festival. Now I realize those were the lucky ones who left early.
I immediately called Noam and told him that the sirens were going off and I want him to return around and come home. He told me that he will get back in the car and come home to me. The next call I received from him will change our life forever.
After the siren stopped, I get back in the car and begin to drive to Noah via Sderot. It was now 7 a.m. As I approach to Sderot, I see people from the IDF, and they tell me to turn around, that something is going on. I heard the sound of shooting, and I served in the IDF in the Givati unit. I know those are not the bullets of the IDF, but I need to get home to Noah. And just as I am figured out my next step, a terrorist shot the side of my car, and I was get shot in. I called Noah, told her I was shot.
Well, I didn't believe him. I told him that it was impossible. You can't be shot. We are about to have a son. Just stay there. I will call the emergency service to help you. I refused to go into the safe room because then I will lose reception, and I had to be available to Noam. I told him, just wait, we will help you in a few minutes. At the same time, I begin hear gunshots in the kibbutz. I assume it is the IDF, but I begin to understand that this event is different.
Raz Balaban, a soldier in the IDF, finds me at the side of the road. He says he sees I have been injured and wants to help me. Raz is trying to get me into his car, but I don't really understand what's going on. I tell him I need to go back to the car to take my phone, to take my computer. Raz is rushing me up into his car, and then a terrorist pull up and begin shooting at us. I'm shot 3 times in the stomach and somehow lay my body down on his Raz's car. Raz outside trying to starting to fighting with the terrorist. He's shot in the gunfight. He began to lose lose blood, and quickly Raz get into the car and make a U-turn against the road and drive as fast as he can to his home, which is about 6 or 7 minutes to 6 minutes drive near to Ashkelon.
I beg my father to save me. My last moments, I'm going to die. I'm begging to negotiate. I say to him, I thank you for giving me 33 years on this planet. Traveling over human body, I scream. I remember saying to myself, am I in the middle of 1946?
To recite the Kaddish prayer, we now welcome to the stage Rabbi Daniel Korobkin.
Dearest friends, brothers and sisters, on this type of yortzeit that we're commemorating this evening, we are all mourners for our brothers, our sisters, our aunts, our uncles, our nieces, our nephews. You certainly are welcome to recite Kaddish with me. If you'd like, you can put something on your head. You don't have to. But if you know the Kaddish, let's say it together. Let us sanctify God together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah B'olama divera chirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam ul'olamei olamaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעולמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
We now welcome to the stage Cantor Shai Abramson.
Itai Chen, among the hostages, is my second cousin. I wanted him to be with me here on stage while we sing along. Acheinu kol bet Yisrael, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה. Sing along with me. אחינו כל בית ישראל, כל בית ישראל, הנתונים בצרה, בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. אחינו כל בית ישראל, ישראל, הנתונים בצרה, בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. המקום ירחם, ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה, ומאפלה ליורה ומשעבוד לגאולה, השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב. המקום ירחם, ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה, ומאפלה ליורה ומשעבוד לגאולה, השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב. אחינו, let's hear you, כל בית ישראל, אחינו כל בית ישראל, הנתונים בצרה, בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. המקום ירחם, ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה, ומאפלה ליורה ומשעבוד לגאולה, השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב. המקום ירחם, ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה, ובזמן קרי השתה בגלה ובזמן
We now welcome to the stage Mia Barron.
Writers of the history, stand with me. Look into my eyes and see. People go away but never say goodbye. Someone stole the moon tonight, took my light. Everything is black and white. Who's the fool who told you boys don't cry? Hours and hours and flowers. Life is no game for the cowards. Why does time go wild? Every day I'm losing my mind, holding on in this mysterious ride, dancing in the storm. We got nothing to hide. Take me home and leave the world behind, and I promise you that never again I'm still wet from this October rain. October rain. Living in a fantasy, ecstasy. Everything is meant to be. We shall pass, but love will never die. Hours and hours and flowers. Life is no game for the cowards. Why does time go wild? Every day I'm losing my mind, holding on in this mysterious ride, dancing in the storm. We got nothing to hide. Take me home and leave the world behind, and I promise you that never again I'm still wet from this October rain. October rain. Ooh, ooh, לא נשאר אוויר לנשום, אין מקום, אין אותי מיום ליום, כולם ילדים טובים אחד אחד.
We now welcome to the stage our next speaker, Israel's Special Envoy for Combating Anti-Semitism, Michal Cotler Wunsch.
Wow. Thank you all for being here, for standing here tonight on October 365. We are marking 1 year to October the 7th. 1 year to the worst attack of Jews since the Holocaust. 1 year to the Shabbat morning that was Simchat Torah, in which the book, the Tanakh, that we have read for thousands of years as a people was desecrated, in which thousands of rockets targeting millions of Israelis, sounding sirens all over Israel at 6:29 a.m., caught not only those of us in our shelters, but those that were dancing at a Nova Peace Festival, those that were protecting their children, those that stood and guarded the state of Israel, to which Jews and indigenous people returned after thousands of years of exile and persecution 76 years ago, so that never again would we be defenseless. And the sirens, those sirens that sounded on October the 7th, they continue to be sounded, not just by the attack of genocidal Hamas terrorists from Gaza, but starting October the 8th, those sirens alerted to the thousands of rockets that continued to target Israelis by Hezbollah from the north, another genocidal terror proxy, by the Houthis from the Red Sea, another genocidal terror proxy, and even by a terror proxy from Iraq. All proxies of a murderous Islamic regime in Iran that does the very same things that happened on October the 7th to the people of Iran. Burning, raping, abducting, poisoning, executing the people of Iran, precisely what their proxies have done. And as Israel's special envoy, about a week after October the 7th, I got on my first plane to come here to Canada, to the United States, to Europe, to travel the world in order to sound the sirens that you need to hear. The sirens that today, once again, were heard across Israel, targeting Tel Aviv, targeting central Israel with more rockets launched by genocidal terror proxies with the aim to murder. And please don't be afraid, but I do want you to sample and hear the sirens. Those sirens were sounded again today across Israel. Those sirens were sounded last Tuesday night, warning of 180 plus rockets targeting millions of Israelis. And more importantly, the very same anti-Semitism that has fueled not only the atrocities of October the 7th and the multi-front war raging since, that very same anti-Semitism has been raging here in the responses to the atrocities, to the war crimes, to the crimes against humanity. Responses of silence, me too, unless you're a Jew. Responses of denial, even as those thousands of barbaric savages live-streamed the atrocities they perpetrated. Responses of justification, rape as armed resistance, and responses of attacks of Jews on campuses, on streets, online, right here in my second home, my beloved Canada. And so we meet at an existential moment, and it is not just an existential moment for the state of Israel. It is not just an existential moment for Jews and their allies across the Western world that recognize that this new strain of anti-Semitism, a virulent, ever-mutating virus that mutates by latching on to the guiding social construct of the time, that presents now as the strain of anti-Zionism that has been normalized and mainstreamed right here in Canada. But it is an existential moment for the places and spaces in which anti-Semitism is allowed to infect, to permeate, to spread. An existential moment for all those that recognize that 10/7, like 9/11, was the attack of barbarism on our shared humanity, on the foundational principles of Canada, on its commitment to the dignity of difference, to human rights, to diversity, to multiculturalism. And when we stand here, I implore you to hear the sirens of this 8th front of what is an existential war. Because in this war, each one of you is the boots on the ground that has to stand up and speak out, even if, and especially if, you are afraid for your children, for yourself, for the continuation of our shared values right here in Canada. And when I see this incredible crowd, it is the understanding that this is what it means to stand together in grief and in solidarity. That this is the hope that carried the Jewish people for thousands of years, and the hope that now we must carry. The hope that, as the late Rabbi Sachs taught, requires action and courage. The hope that inspires us to reclaim the identity. Indeed, never again, a prospective commitment that requires we remember the past to identify the threats of the present in order to be able to prevent the recurrence of atrocities in the future. That never again is not just words. That never again is now, and that we fight together to ensure that never again to anyone in the world that committed, that we would never allow what anti-Semitism predicts for thousands of years is the collapse of morality. We stand together with hope, with action and courage, with each person here on the front lines at this existential moment as boots on the ground, with the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance of Anti-Semitism that enables us to identify all strains of what is a shape-shifting virus, that enables us to say that the demonization and the delegitimization and the double standards, the mechanism that bars the individual Jew from an equal place in society, or the Jewish nation state from an equal place in the family of nations, is not going to happen on our watch. Not this time. Never again is now. Never again is our call to action. Never again is the hope and the prayer that together we will confront, for the first time in thousands of years of history, by standing up tall, nitzavim, by walking, vayelich, by listening to our past and reclaiming it, hazim, and finally, v'zot bracha, it will be our blessing. We stand together now and forever. Am Yisrael Chai, forever.
Please turn your attentions to the screens for a special video message from the President of Israel, His Excellency, President Isaac Herzog.
Dear sisters and brothers from all around the world, shalom to all of you from the President's residence in Jerusalem. Today marks a full year since the earth shook, since the worst of human brutality and hatred ripped apart our sense of safety and changed our world forever. A year since our women, our children, our old people were hunted down in their beds, burned to death, beheaded, raped, and shot. A year since the gathering of our beautiful young people turned into a scene of carnage, torture, and death. A year since hundreds of our people were brutally dragged into captivity, dead and alive. And we must be honest, here, now, when the passage of time should be able to offer comfort and some sense of closure, the earth shakes still. Our wounds still cannot fully heal because they are ongoing, because hostages are still being tortured, executed, and dying in captivity, because they and their families are still living in the loss and the terror of October 7th, right at these very moments, because tens of thousands of families still cannot return home. In many senses, we're all still living the aftermath of October 7th. It is everywhere in our country. It is also in the anti-Semitism that came charging forward throughout the world in the wake of the war with Hamas. It is in the ongoing threat to the Jewish state by Iran and its terror proxies, who are blinded by hatred and bent on the destruction of our one and only Jewish nation state. It is in the tangible fear, uncertainty, and anxiety about the future. All of these are here with us still. But friends, the divider we can create in time so as to remember still carries so much meaning. This time, 1 year later, is an invitation to come close to the pain and the grief, to look at it with open eyes and open hearts, remembering what we have lost, which reminds us also who we are. We are a people with the power to keep standing up again and again against hatred, to get back on our feet from the ashes of tragedy, to fight and to survive, to heal and to rebuild. And in truth, this year of so much heartbreak and devastation, which has plagued Jew, Muslim, Christian, Druze in my nation, and Jews all over the world and other friends, this year has compelled us to return to the core truths of our peoplehood. It has compelled us to reconnect with one another and to recommit ourselves to the path of self-reflection, collective responsibility, and social justice that are the spiritual legacy of our people. And we really have been there for one another this year in beautiful expressions of love and solidarity. We have not abandoned our deep longing and aspiration for peace with our neighbors. And we hold on to this intention still, even as we insist that we as Jews deserve to feel safe and to be safe regardless of where on earth we may live. So, my friends, we will emerge from this difficult time and we will overcome the hatred and we will rebuild. With the vital spirit that has defined us, we will come together to recover again and again, and we will rebuild. Inspired by the courage of bravery and the beauty of everyone we lost, we will not stop believing that a better world is possible. I would like to end my words with a prayer and hope in this spirit that we find strength and receive the blessing of peace. Adonai oz la'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom.
We now welcome to the stage Kobe Besson to recite the prayer for the state of Israel. Kobe is the great-grandson of Rabbi Yitzhak Halevi Herzog, the first Ashkenazi chief rabbi of Israel, and the grandfather of President Isaac Herzog, as well as the person who wrote the prayer for the state of Israel. We also welcome back to the stage Cantor Shai Abramson.
אבינו, אבינו, שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. אבינו, אבינו, שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. ברך ברך את מדינת ישראל, ראשית צמיחת גאולתנו, הגן עליה בעברת חסדך, ופרוס עליה סוכת שלומך. אבינו אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. אבינו אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. ושלח אורך ועמיתך לראשיה שריה ויועציה ותקנם בעצה טובה מלפניה.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך למען חייך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראת שמך, ולשמור את כל דברי תורתך. ושלח לנו מהרה בן דוד משיח צדקך, לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתך. והופע בהדר גאון עוזך על כל יושבי תבל ארצך, ויאמר כל אשר נשמה באפו, אדוני אלוהי ישראל מלך, מלכותו בכל משלה.
אבינו אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. אבינו אבינו שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. צור ישראל וגואלו. ונאמר
We will now begin our candle lighting ceremony. To present each candle, we now welcome 7 university students to the stage. To light each candle, we welcome to the stage Maureen Lesham, cousin of current hostage Romy Gonen, Mayan Shavit, cousin of murdered hostage Carmel Gat, and Harel Lapidot, uncle of Tiferet Lapidot.
Tonight, we will light 7 candles, each one accompanied by a poem written after October 7th. As the day turns tonight, our hope is to replace the darkness with our light. The first candle is in memory of each victim of October 7th. We remember them all with a name, a family, and a legacy lost. May their memories be for a blessing. After It's All Over, written by Avraham Sharon. After it's all over, a new language must be created for things impossible to describe in words permitted in human language. After it's all over, the words will remain contaminated with blood. As years go by, they will become scarred, together with the wounds that will scab over. As years go by, a language as yet uncreated will be created, because it will be impossible to contain everything with only a break, with only a scream, with only silence. It will be necessary to describe the horror in words before madness devours the remnants of society.
In memory of all the children whose futures were stolen from them, these innocent young souls, robbed of a full life, endured unimaginable suffering. May their memories be for a blessing. Be'eri by Adi Blechman Sofer. Soon, winter will be here. Weeping clouds will water the earth, making red carpets grow. The anemone will flower first, yet no one will come to admire its beauty. The buttercup will flower next, but there will be no festival. The poppy is the last to bloom. Silence. No one is there. The protected flowers had already been plucked in the fall.
For the return of all of the hostages, those murdered and those still alive, who we keep in our thoughts and pray for every day. We will not rest until they are all home. It's Only by Chance, written by Orit Klopstock. It's only by chance that they caught you and not me. Your people is my people. Your blood is my blood. Once you were Eden, Netta, and Shani. Today you are Jewish history. For the 6 millionth time plus one, you prove that history always repeats itself. Your body, a destroyed temple, and I, a bird, escaped from the strapper's snare. I am with you. Whenever you scream, I will scream.
For the heroic men and women who stand up in defense of Jews in Israel and around the world, we express our deepest gratitude for their strength and perseverance. A Good Day by Tal Shavit. I want to manage all the emergency situation rooms, to mobilize all the supply chains. I want to take care of all the children, of all the single mothers, and those who are gone, each and every one. To sustain all the families, the evacuated, the broken, the crushed. Return those who were taken, bring back all that is gone. I want to collect all the donations and take them where they belong. To pass all the messages, to make all the sandwiches, to oversee all the efforts. But on a good day, I manage, sometimes.
For the people of Israel and Jewish communities around the world who choose to live as proud Jews despite these challenging times. Morning Stars, written by Risa Cohen-Stone. As the morning stars wink out and a gentle breeze whispers by, the dawn light booms across the sky. The echoes linger, shaking the walls of the tabernacle. Sirens shatter the morning. Broken-hearted, despairing, numb. Fear and grief and worry and rage roll down my cheeks. Soon, accompanied by love and pride and honor. Though hate surrounds us in a cacophony of shouts and rhymes, sirens and slogans echoing around the globe, shaking the walls of humanity. Never again will history be repeated. This time, we have a flag and a nation of heroes. Morning stars will rise again.
For those who advocate for our community, even when it doesn't always feel like the popular choice, these allies are the light in the darkness, displaying incredible courage and mortality for all human life. Words written by Iris Elia Cohen. I name the file Sorrow. I delete. I name it October. Change it to 7. Replace it with chasm. Change chasms. Name it hell-like. I name it hope. Command the computer to remember. it responds, saving hope.
For the safety, healing, recovery, and the flourishing of the Jewish people and the communities in Israel and all over the world. Od lo avda tikvatenu. Dance Again by Chaya Lana Sher. As light broke, they glided down. They broke the wall with an unholy sound. The kibbutzim and Nova, bruised and dead, brutally from tear that painted the ground red. 253 hostages, the youngest under 1, someone's daughter, someone's son, held by monsters, missing home, children without parents, all alone. We wait and watch, hoping for a word, and ask our friends, what have they heard? Sitting Shiva forever and a day, we quietly mourn and endlessly pray. We continue to live, we must carry on, to speak for the taken and to remain strong. We talk and we fight, because we must defend our right to exist. We will dance again. May we always remember October 7th and its significance. Am Yisrael Chai.
If you have not yet done so, please turn on your LED tea light candle. We will now recite the prayer for the release of captives. May they all come home now.
Before we proceed with the prayer for our hostages, we want to take a moment to share a powerful mosaic created by Jewish students across Toronto in a special project led by Sarah Petroff, Olga Goldberg, and Einat Katz. In the border communities of southern Israel, one can see the stunning crimson of the kalaniot, the national flower of Israel. We asked young artists to create their own unique interpretation of the kalaniot as a symbol of renewal and resilience in Israel, which we have digitally stitched together as a virtual mosaic. Just as the beautiful kalaniot is once again blooming in the fields of Israel, we pray that every beautiful soul being held hostage in Gaza will be returned to their loved ones.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, יוסף, משה ואהרון, דוד ושלמה, הוא יברך וישמור וינצור את השבויים בתוך שער אחינו בית ישראל הנתונים בצרה ובשביה. בעבור שהקהל מתפלל בעבורם, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם ויוציאם מחושך וצל מוות, יושיעם וישיבם מהרה לחיק משפחותיהם. ומסורתיהם ינתק וממצקותיהם יושיעם וישיבם מהרה לחיק משפחותיהם. יודו לאדוני חסדו ונפלאותיו לבני אדם, ויוקם בהם מקרא שכתוב, ופדויי אדוני ישובון, ובאו ציון ברינה ושמחת עולם על ראשם, ששון ושמחה ישיגו, ונסו יגון והנחה, ונאמר אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, מתיר אסורים.
The one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Joseph, Moses, and Aaron, David, and Solomon, May they bless and safeguard and preserve the captives among their people in the house of Israel in trouble and captivity. In the merit of the prayers of this holy assembly who pray for them, may the blessed Holy One shower compassion over them, deliver them from darkness and strife, remove their bondage, deliver them from their afflictions, and return them speedily to their families. Let them give thanks to Adonai for God's loving kindness and for God's miracles to the children of Adam, and establish for them that what is written, and the ransom of the Lord shall return, and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who sets free the captive. Amen.
We would now like to welcome to the stage UJA's President and CEO, Adam Minsky.
Good evening. I'm honored to say a few words as we conclude tonight's program. As we reflect on the pain and devastation of October 7th, our tradition reminds us that every person is created in the divine image, and that one who destroys a single life destroys an entire world. But just as the loss of a single person is felt for all time, as Jews, we know that the good we build today echoes throughout eternity. Worlds can be destroyed, but worlds can also be saved and redeemed. And this is where we find our response to the immeasurable losses of October 7th, whether as individuals or as a community. In the face of death and destruction, we choose life and creation. Tonight, we're united in our shared pain, but tomorrow and every day, it is on each of us to unite in shared purpose, to lift up the memory of the fallen, to complete the work that they started, and to honor their legacies by building a better world, one in which the Jewish people and all those who share our hopes for humanity will never again experience the horrors we witnessed 1 year ago today. That hope is at the heart of what it means to be Jewish, and what it means for the Jewish people to have the blessing of a secure, Jewish, and democratic state of Israel. To conclude tonight's program, please join UJA's Shinshinim.
ולפאתי
This now concludes our commemoration. Please get home safely. Bring them home. Am Israel High.